So it's 5 a.m. when we arrive in Stacyville, Iowa to jump in the truck with the May family, which includes Ed May, Tina May, Molly May, and Teresa May.
Tina and Katie Meyer. They used to go around to different towns for their fun runs and stuff, and Tina told us she was working for Teresa Hallback. So why don't we do that in Stacyville? We can do a fun run or something. And Teresa said, well, there's a city council meeting tonight, get your ideas together. And
So she
did. She went to the city council meeting, and they let her do the first Brat Trot.
Why is it called Brat Days?
Bratwurst Days?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been that way for 50-some years.
Is it that a lot of people make bratwurst around here? Or?
Well, yeah, just like Turkey Days at Grafton.
Right. Well, I know that was like the turkey farmers, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
I guess hog farmers, and then they make bratwurst? Okay.
Yeah.
You see, the May family has got this down to a science, because they've been doing this for years. They drive around in the morning, and they set up signs for the runners of their annual fundraiser, the Brat Trot. Then they sell commemorative t-shirts, custom designed each year by Molly and distributed with the help of some family friends. And while this all happens, Molly entertains the troops by dressing as a bratwurst and spreading some cheer.
Grandma says she doesn't have a calculator, she uses her phone.
Okay, that's fine.
Get it, Grandma. Can you introduce yourselves?
Yeah, good morning. I'm Tina May, the founder and creator of the Brat Trot.
Good morning, I'm Molly May, the entertainment division of the Brat Trot.
Who are you, sir?
Hi, I'm Ed May, father of these two ladies.
And how did the Brat Trot come to be?
I started the Brat Trot 22 years ago as a high school 4-H project. I was working that summer at Ed's Floral here in Stacyville, and Teresa Hallback was the owner of Ed's Floral, and at the time the town of Stacyville was raising money for a new library and a new water tower. And I kind of felt like, what could I do to help? And then it was, well, why can't we have a race here or run a fun run here? And Teresa looked at me one day at Ed's Floral and said, well, do it then. And she handed me a notebook and she said, there's a city council meeting tonight. What are you gonna say when you go? So Teresa's really a big reason why this got off the ground and really pushed me and supported me to do it. And I think too about women mentors in my life and what that moment and Teresa did for me at that time. Pretty powerful.
Now Tina and Molly are the ones supporting the young people of Stacyville just as they were supported when they were younger. And through the Brat Trot, they raise money for the various needs that the community might have throughout the year. And just like it has for over 20 years, the Brat Trot went off without a hitch. And later in the day, I got to join the May family for the town's parade.
And it reminds me of Tess, it's so lovely. Oh, like they're... Oh, I get it. They're pitching like watermelons.
The day after Brat Days, I got to join the May sisters at their childhood home.
What is your commitment to Stacyville, and why do you choose to do this every year?
Stacyville is in our bones, and we love her. And I'm gonna tear up. She's home, and it's so cool every Bratwurst Days to see, because it's not just the people of Stacyville that come here, but it's their extended families, and they are huge families. And God, it's one hell of a party, but it's also like one hell of a family reunion and a class reunion. It feels so good to give back to the place that made us who we are. And like, I'm so grateful for everything that Stacyville has given us and like taught us how to be lovely, amazing humans. So giving back every year in the way that we can, and the way that Stacyville lets us,
Yeah,
is
that's a big part of it.
is amazing.
Yeah, as long as they let us come back and
Yeah.
do it, I think we will. I think you said it really well. But I think we both feel too that we have a commitment and a responsibility to give back as best we can. And I think we're so proud of the roots that we have and where we came from. And we feel very tied to that. And as we build our own families, we want to make sure that that's instilled with us and in them as well.
There's such an energy to Stacyville and the surrounding community, and that the way that people show up for each other, and it's not just like in times of need. It's like the way that they show up to work, and it's like, even if, I mean, like, find me someone who works harder than a Stacyville farm kid.
Well, yeah, I think the farther you get away from that too, the more you realize how true that is here and in these communities that surround Stacyville, for sure.
I was talking to you earlier about this project that you were talking about of there's a pioneering woman who's from Stacyville, and that inspired you to want to help young women around here. Do you want to speak about that at all?
Yeah, Julia Addington was elected to office in 1869. Presumably one of the first women elected in the nation, certainly in Iowa. And there's not a lot of information on her. She was a part of the Mitchell County School District and lived here in Stacyville, is buried a mile down the road. And we didn't really dig into her history until it was like 2016.
Oh yeah.
And then we're like, what? And it was like, I just got the chills because it was amazing, because it was like connected to the 2016 election. We were like, this is like this woman powerhouse that has been right here, like, but being our spirit guide the whole time. And then we're like, this is amazing, and like, this is absolutely the energy of Stacyville. And Tina and I were bouncing around with this idea for a while of creating an incubator for women in Mitchell County in northern Iowa, kind of like pairing high school students with professional mentors as a means to showcase all the different professions that women can have, that you don't necessarily see in smaller communities.
I think we have a responsibility to both lift and reach as we go and grow, and that definitely includes for both of us, and I know you too, Ben, including the next generation of youth here in these communities that raised us. And for me, it's agriculture and rural issues, and it's still a field that is dominated quite heavily by men, although this is changing due to the generation of women before me. But like our scholarship winner this year, Chloe LeBan, she is a high school graduate from St. Ansgar with the Brat Trot. Every year we do a scholarship, and she is going to college in the fall, and she's going to study agriculture. And I think it's important to continue to grow and build and show and showcase young women in these fields where we continue to need more diversity.
What do you think are the things that people who live in urban areas should understand about rural America or the Midwest that they don't understand?
I think the Midwest is smart and scrappy as hell, and I think that can often be overlooked.
One thing I would say after living on both the East and West Coasts for a long time is rural America is not just ag, right? That these small towns and the thriving culture that exists inside them, it's not always just revolving around agriculture. Oftentimes their economies are, but not all and not every. So I think that is a common misconception.
Looking to the future of the community, what do you hope to see?
I think there's a really cool opportunity for entrepreneurship in these small towns, and we saw it also from like being raised in a small town. You get the opportunity to like dabble in so much cool stuff, right? Like you're not just a one sport kid, you are a 5-sport kid, and band and choir and
FFA,
drama and ag. Yeah. And it makes for, I think, highly educated, well-rounded individuals that there's an opportunity to like get your hands wet in so many things.
Yeah, just playing off that a bit, I think I've been talking about this a little bit recently. Right, as you were coming down today, we grew up on this gravel, dirt, dead-end road. And it's Stacyville, Mitchell County, on a farm. We're the first generation to go to college. No one ever expected much of us. And I think there's a deep sense of freedom in that. There's something psychological that happens passing that dead end sign every day that is burned into your psyche. And because of that, I think I don't know if you do, but or feel this, but you have a chip on your shoulder and you're constantly trying to prove yourself. But to go somewhere and make something happen for yourself because you did it by yourself and created your own opportunities, no matter here or another city or another place, the fact that you can go and compete with kids that maybe had more educational opportunity or had other experiences, it gives you this sense of sort of ass-kickingness where you can go and get it done as good as or better than somebody else.
There's like an innate scrappiness built
grit.
into us because of it.
Midwest grit, for sure. Ben, it's like how you started this project, right? It's like you just saw, you had vision, you saw an opportunity to piece something together, and you figured out and you just did it. And you came home and you did it. I think doing that in another place could have been, or could be a lot harder, right? And we see that a lot in our professional lives, in various places and paths that we've chosen. And I think here it's just, if you dream it, you can do it. And I really, truly believe that. And I think going back to the Brat Trot, no one ever told me no, that I could never do it as a 15-year-old kid.
There's a cool, like almost an automatic, like built-in support system where as you are a little more anonymous and like a body of one in a big city where you're trying to put on an event or a run, here, because we all know each other and we're a tight-knit community, there's like an immediate like rally cry, like, hell yeah, we're in this together and we're gonna do the Brat Trot.
Yeah.
Thanks for sitting down with me.
Yeah, thanks for doing this.
This is amazing.
You're welcome. So I am joined today by the May sisters. Hi, it's good to see you both.
Hello.
You had to make a sort of difficult decision. You had to cancel the Brat Trot, right? Is this the first year that happened? Can you tell us more about why you chose to do that?
Yes, we canceled the Brat Trot, and it is the first time in 23 years that we haven't had it in person. We canceled it because Bratwurst Days was canceled. And we are grateful for the tremendous leadership that there is at the local level in Stacyville. They have a great mayor and city council and members of the community club that made the tough call, but the right call to keep everybody safe. And I know that everybody looks forward to making sure we can all be safe and healthy and get together hopefully in 2021 and do it in person.
How was that for you emotionally? I've been editing this footage from last year, and I know that this is how the family comes together. Was it like a little bit of a shock?
It is our favorite day of the summer, maybe of the year, no doubt about it. It was not even a doubt for us to not do something, even though it was canceled. So this is when the decision was being made. I was texting with and calling the mayor of Stacyville just to let them all know that even if they did make the tough call to cancel it, that we would still do something and help where we could. And Ben, this is awesome. This is where I think everybody tends to know this, but honestly, Ben, I never asked, so I didn't even know it. But all of the money raised at Bratwurst Days itself from sales of bratwurst and sauerkraut and beers at the beer garden, that money goes into a general fund that then local organizations can apply for and get the money to fund their organizations. So it was pretty clear right away that without the sales of brats and beer, that money wasn't going to have any funds in it this year. And what was going to happen is that would then reverberate throughout the community and these organizations would go without. So we knew that we wanted to pull an effort together and give the money to make up for that pot of money. So we're excited to help and to jump in where we can. And I feel like it's almost like the root of where the Brat Trot started from was just, do what we can with what we have where we're at and help in any way we can. And I think we're pretty pumped with the response so far. And I'll say Molly is just a creative genius. Once you get her going on something, she's got it done in 1 hour and it's perfection. So it's been a blast to work on.
So what was the shift?
Yeah, we quickly we decided that we had to obviously do something, and so we both started researching ways that we could fundraise online. And one of the favorite things of the Brat Trot is the shirts, and so we knew that we wanted to have some facet of that and make it very 2020. So this year the running Brat is wearing his COVID mask, and we wanted to have a site that was easily shoppable for people, and meeting them where they're at. You can use a credit card, PayPal, whatever, and then that it ships directly to them and that we don't have to have people congregating for pickup. And we also found a site so it's a third-party site where I can upload designs and then make a store out of it. Another one of the cool things about it is that this third-party site is for fundraising, and so there's also that donation option. Because part of the reason why the Brat Trot is so successful every year is because of our sponsors. And so this year, with COVID, it didn't feel right to ask for sponsorships. And so we're just doing this online store this year, and the turnout and the rally around it that we've seen online this month has been awesome. It's blown my expectations away. Tina and I were brainstorming what else could we do with this store? Like, it's kind of presenting a new opportunity, and we're like, let's make more Stacyville merch. And there is a Facebook group that is rich with Stacyville history and photos, and there are such cool designs in there. Like, there's the Stacyville brass band of, I think it's like 1895, and it's just like this hand painted big bass drum, and we're like, let's turn this into a t-shirt. This was our opportunity to finally make shirts about Julia Addington, who we're so obsessed with.
Who we talked about last year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can we talk about Julia Addington again? So Ben, we went down the rabbit hole again.
There's more Julia Addington.
When we were popping up the Stacyville a fundraiser in lieu of Brat Trot this year, and man, is she cool. So we really went deep and enjoyed doing the research on Julia Addington, the first publicly elected female in the United States.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in seeing the store online that it's in the same way that the Brat Trot was your love letter to Stacyville, it feels like this store is even perhaps more so of one because it has like there's so much nuance and like there's so much care brought to the design that you can tell they're created by somebody who has like a deep love for this part of the state and for Mitchell County and for Stacyville.
That's part of the thing that was so fun about creating this was also seeing the response to some of these photos. So like there's a baseball hat in the store that was inspired by the Stacyville baseball team's jerseys in 1954. And like people being like, oh my God, that's my grandpa. He looks just like so-and-so. And people sharing it and being like, look at this photo. I didn't know that she was a cheerleader. And so there's like another level of kind of hometown pride that we're seeing unfold on the internet.
I'm curious, how has Stacyville as a community been able to cope with or respond to the pandemic?
That community pulls together through the hard times, the good times, the pandemic times. I'm just so proud to be from there.
In that we are having this moment of an expansion of racial consciousness and coming from rural Iowa, moving to Minneapolis and having the epicenter to some extent of this moment be in Minneapolis. What has that revealed to you?
I am just beginning my personal work with waking up and opening my eyes and learning about the systemic racism that's around me. That I have a lot of learning to do, and it's time for me personally to sit and listen and to really educate myself on what racial equality means and, you know, specifically how we can move forward and, you know, my role in that and how I want to show up. My hope is that coming out of COVID, pandemic, whatever this year is that it opens up our ability to communicate honestly with each other. And because there's such a shared experience that's not only happening in our towns, our communities, our country, but the entire world. And having that kind of shared experience be an invitation for listening to each other and like actually sitting and having conversations. Because like I know for me personally, I've connected with more family members and friends via FaceTime than, you know, waiting for bratwurst days to come around. And my hope is that one-to-one conversation is going to continue when Pandyland is over, and that people, our friends and our family, you know, still feel welcome to have those conversations and those check-ins of, hey, how are you doing? And having genuine responses back that aren't just canned responses of, oh, I'm good. Yeah, how are you? But we're having these connections and these check-ins now that are, hey, how are you? And it's hard right now. And I hope that openness that we're all experiencing together, I hope that other people are experiencing it. My hope is that continues.
That's a good segue into what was going to be my final question anyways, which is what brings you both hope as you look to the future, both for Stacyville and yourselves and our nation?
Mine is the younger generation. We're seeing teens and kids right now that are on the front lines of activism and empathy and like leading some pretty awesome charges. And also like the age of technology that they're growing up in, I mean, they're smarter than I was at that age. So yeah, my hope is in the kids.
Then every year we do a Brat Trot scholarship. I think we talked about that last year with you. You know, every year the seniors, the students, they write an essay in order to apply for this. And without fail, every year we end up falling in love with that senior class and what they have to say about their commitment to rural America, to Stacyville, and to want to make their community, in the true sense of the word, a better place. And I'm proud of them. I'm proud to be a part of them and share history and heritage with them. And I'm proud of that place that we're from, that, you know, raises crops of kids like that year after year after year. And there's certainly hope in that. And I hope that these students that are, you know, a generation behind and are just graduating now are kind of looking at the state of the world and finding the places that they can help others and live their true, best, authentic selves and be the change.
There's a special quality to the young people that come out of the place that we came from, and I think that, you know, with the right tools given to them, they can certainly be the ones to create and craft a better world, because like we talked about last year, there's this resilience and this grit and this work ethic that comes from these kids, and if you partner it with empathy and compassion, there's nothing that is impossible for them.
Exactly. Unstoppable.
Zoom hug.
This is where I hug you and weep.
You know, Ben, there is one thing I've been thinking of. Molly, we haven't talked about this yet, but we're at the time here with the Brat Trot. I mean, we're 23 years into this. You know, if this was a career, we'd be thinking about succession planning. Who's the next generation that's going to help us take over the Brat Trot, right? And what are the new ideas, right? What is the next generation of Stacyville 4-H kids that want to get involved? What do they think is needed? And how can we continue to build and grow and give back?
Well, thank you both for being a part of this, and it's really nice to catch up with you and hear how life is going, and congratulations on the success of your pivot and being able to really help out your community and show some love to it, even in spite of, or maybe in response to what's been going on. And thanks again for hanging out with me tonight.
Thanks so much, Ben.
Next time on Home Again, I speak with Nancy Lee, an alumni of my high school who returned to our hometown to found Cedar Summerstock, the first regional summer stock theater in north central Iowa. See you next time.